Hi, sixth graders. So yesterday you got a chance to practice finding the main idea of a poem. Remember, the main idea of a poem is just what the poem is mostly about. All right, what the author is trying to say in their poem. So just like when we find the main idea in informational texts, when we find the main idea in poetry, we also need to give evidence as to how we got that main idea. We need to be able to support it with words directly pulled from the text to, like I said, just kind of prove that this really is the main idea. All right, so when I modeled main idea in poetry for you guys, I used the poem Dreams by Langston Hughes. And just a reminder, I found that the main idea here was when we don't have dreams in our life, we don't really have a purpose. All right, that's kind of what I got from the poem and what I thought he was trying to tell us about dreams. So now what I need to do is I need to go back and I need to give that evidence as to how I got that. All right, so when I'm looking for that evidence, I could look for a couple things. And I'm going to put kind of that list over on the side for you guys. When I'm looking for evidence, I could look for maybe a specific stanza in my poem. Maybe there's quite a bit of evidence that I could find. Maybe I can look for a single line or even lines, that I feel like back up my main idea. Another thing would maybe be a piece of figurative language that I feel like really demonstrates that is the main idea. All right, so those are a couple of things that you guys can look for. So when I'm thinking about, where in the poem did I get the idea that when we don't have dreams in life, we don't really have purpose? And I think that was kind of in that, kind of at the beginning section. These 3 lines where he, personified dreams, and then he kind of compared them to, a broken winged bird, all right, that couldn't fly. I feel like this really supports that because, like I mentioned in my last lesson, a broken winged bird that can't fly, that's a bird that can't do what it was made to do. And I thought that was kind of similar to if we have our dreams die. So that's going to be my evidence here. So to add that to my main idea, I would just, and I'm going to write in red so that you can kind of see the difference. I'm going to write, because in the poem it says, and this is where I'm going to quote it, so I need to make sure I put my quotations, for if dreams die. And so what we do with poems when we want to go to another line, we don't just keep writing like we would with a normal text. When I'm showing how my lines are separated, I'm going to put a slash here. That shows that I'm technically moving to the next line of my poem. So I'm not going to put a comma unless there's a comma in the poem or a period. I'm going to put that line because there's no comma or anything here. I just go down, so I'm going to put my slash. Life is a broken winged bird. Same thing, I'm going to another line. That cannot fly. Period, end quotation. All right, so I cited directly from the text, and remember when we when we put our text evidence, I have to give a little explanation too about how I came to find that on my own. So that's where I would just say, how do I want to word this? This shows that if we don't, I'll make sure you guys can see it, have dreams, we can't do what do just like if a bird can't fly. All right, so I'm going to reread that whole thing. So when we don't have dreams in our life, we don't really have purpose, because in the poem it says, "For if dreams die, life is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly." This shows that if we don't have dreams, we can't do what we were made to do, just like if a bird can't fly. All right, so I put my own thinking in there to help my reader connect my text evidence back to the main idea, which is what we've been practicing, with theme, with our literary essays. We have to explain that text evidence as well. All right, so what you guys are going to do for today, the poem that you read yesterday and wrote the main idea for, you're now going to give me a piece of text evidence in your own thinking as to how you got that main idea. All right, again, this is going to be on Canvas as well, so that you can refer back to it. And as always, let me know if you guys have any questions.